To some, this is a typical forest, but it is right here where the $2.1 billion Trident project lies. This new mining area was established in the northwestern province of Zambia, starting in 2011 by Kalumbila Minerals Limited, a subsidiary of First Quantum Minerals, FQM. First Quantum Minerals Limited, FQM, which began mining operations in Zambia in 1996, is credited with investing in Zambia's copper mining industry and owns 80% shares of the Kansanshi Mine plc and 100% shares of the Trident project. The development of this area, thanks to the mining investment, has brought a lot of changes, and one wonders how all this came to fruition. About 140 kilometers from the provincial capital, Solwezi, we were greeted by a billboard leading us to an area where KML has developed the Trident project, which comprises the active Sentinel mine and yet to be developed Enterprise and Intrepid mine, plus associated infrastructure in the midst of Kalumbila.
The Trident project initially is around two different ore deposits. One is the Sentinel mine, which is our copper mine. The second one is the Enterprise mine, which is our nickel ore body. First Quantum Minerals has been involved in Zambia for a long time, and it's invested a large amount of money, probably the most money that's been invested in Zambia in the past 10 years. Something like $3 billion over the last 3 years has been invested by our company in Zambia, when not a lot of other mining companies are investing that amount of money. Now that provides opportunity at some stage in the future for other development in the Northwest Province, and that's been facilitated by FQM spending money on that infrastructure.
The mining activities in Kalumbila district come with benefits such as employment as well as wealth creation.
The most important aspect that we're providing for this community is opportunity for jobs, to improve education, to improve health, to improve livelihoods. We've done work on roads, we've done work on building schools and hospitals and other things.
I wanted to know more about the process of mining and the mining activities of Kalumbila Minerals Limited. One interesting thing about the Kalumbila Sentinel mine is that it has very low-grade copper compared to other copper mines in Zambia. Therefore, to achieve economics of scale, cost-efficient production depends on high-volume throughput.
And the difference between this mine and other mines in the region and other mines in Zambia is it's a very, very low-grade copper deposit. So where some of the mines in the copper belt may be at 3 or 3.5% of copper, we're mining 0.5% of copper.
To accomplish this, the Kalumbila mine has invested heavily in state-of-the-art equipment, putting Zambia at the forefront of global mining technology.
So we have large mining equipment. We have the largest ball mills in the world. As you've seen as you go around the site, everything we have is quite big and quite complex, and that's because we need to get volume through the plant to be productive and to be profitable.
With such modern methods of mining and machinery being used to be profitable, one wonders what safety measures are in place for the employees of the mine.
Safety is a number one priority. we've got a slogan which we say, there is no job that's so important that it cannot be done safely. So we first put safety and then we look at the job, because our major resource as a company is a human being. You can replace an equipment, but you cannot replace a human being. So we safeguard first a human being, then we consider other facts. We train guys using the simulators before they go on the actual machine, so that they have their hands-on first, they know the controls before they can go on the actual machine. Basically, that's the reason why we've got these simulators, and also for safety reasons, more especially for safety reasons. On an actual machine, there are events that happen, or should I call them accidents, fairly, whereby a machine maybe would go on fire. Here's a guy, how does he react to such a situation when the machine goes on fire? So there is no way we can do that on the actual machine. We train a person on the actual machine how to respond to a fire, but we can do it in the sim. We can simulate that the machine goes on fire, we can activate, then the machine goes on fire, and then we run them through to say, we're supposed to take ABCD for them to operate, to react to that incident. We've had accidents where property damage has been caused due to maybe human error or environmental, sometimes, because basically accidents work around three reasons. It's either human, machinery, or environment. So we do have accidents.
The mining area and the new town being constructed are huge. Was this place unoccupied, or did it have inhabitants before the arrival of the mine, I wondered? If so, what has happened to them?
Our resettlement has affected 5 villages within the Musele chiefdom. Those villages are Waninwa, Mukila Wantambo, Chiwilu, Nyanga, and a few other small sort of camps that were scattered around. There were 587 households within those 5 villages that had to be resettled.
Resettlements worldwide have never been an easy task. Transparency in the matters of resettlement are key. Therefore, no shortcuts were taken when it came to dealing with families affected during the resettlement phase.
Typical international best practice is to put together a resettlement working group where you go through the different types of resettlement and agree on a set of options that the developer has in terms of how to compensate those people. We appointed a consultant who put together a resettlement and compensation working group made up of authorities in the various areas of jurisdiction. We facilitated the process of electing community representatives from the displaced communities. Senior Chief Musele was involved in the consultative process.
The main challenge in ongoing resettlements such as this one is mainly social.
That initial planning process was a series of workshops that ultimately culminated in a resettlement and compensation plan, which was submitted to Disaster Mitigation and Management Unit and Zambian Environmental Management Agency.
The Trident Foundation is the link between the mine and the people of Chief Musele Chiefdom of Kalumbila District for the prompt resolution of any issues that may arise.
We've improved the quality of the replacement resettlement houses, and we've also increased the size. The average sleeping space in the primary building was 14 square meters, and in the secondary building also 14 square meters. So on average, a family had 28 square meters of sleeping space. Our minimum resettlement house size was 28 square meters. We had a number of different resettlement houses based on what people had before, ranging from 28 square meters up to 72 square meters. We've also built ventilated pit latrines for all the displaced families.
Today, the local people are proud recipients of new housing units and monetary compensation from the mine owners. And that's not all. With the housing units comes a complete package of various social amenities such as clinics and schools. Churches have also been built.
The initial agreement in the Resettlement and Compensation Working Group was that Kalumbila Minerals Limited would replace the community or the public infrastructure, so rebuild the school that was affected. What we ended up doing was building 2 schools, so doubling the amount of infrastructure in 2 host resettlement areas. So we built 2 schools and double the number of staff houses. In the initial agreement as well, the displaced community did not have a health facility, so it was not placed as a requirement that Kalumbila needed to build a health facility because one did not exist. We have built 2 health facilities because we realized that the resettlement could not be successful without people having the basic health care that they require.
Those resettled have also appreciated the manner in which the resettlement plan was handled.
Twaleikala kuwanyino emushuwe twalimu twashiremu na Kalumbila baisa ati awo turefo kumikusha bantu no mushi twalabika munombo mwalaba madamu yame ayamenshi nefyo bayishireta mpo kutukulira mayanda ikishenko bulayo bwabo buntu balayira ati tukalamikulira mayanda okweteka wanulumu tukamulundirako chishinka bali satulundirako na inewe ne panondera ndana kweteka wanulumu batini kwataka 2 rooms na kitchen bambikira kwe ya free.
We wanted to have a focus on livelihoods rather than a big focus on infrastructure. Infrastructure is one element of development, but what's often overlooked are very important, less tangible elements of development, like a person's livelihood, quality of healthcare, quality of education. These things are very important for development, but can't be seen or can't be held within your hands. During the consultations, during the discussions, during the negotiations and the agreements, have tried to get livelihoods to be the priority.
It should be noted that before this massive investment we are seeing today, this was a sparsely populated area with its inhabitants subsisting on hunting and the collection of natural resources while practicing their traditions and cultures for centuries without much economic development. I have so far acquired enough knowledge about the investment in the mine, the mining process, and the impact the mine has had on the residents of this area. However, with every mining investment comes concern over the environment. So, as a concerned Zambian citizen, I asked what measures have been put in place to safeguard the environment in which the mining activities are done.
To begin with, in Zambia, the law requires that before you embark on any project of this nature, for example, a big mine like Kalumbila mine project, you have to go through a process called environmental impact assessment. So that is a process that helps every developer to identify the good things about the project, which we call environmental impacts, positive and negative. When I talk about monitoring, we are looking at water quality, how our mine is interacting with the water resources around our mine license area. The air quality, we are looking at our activities, the movement of mine vehicles, the mining itself within the pit, disposal of mine waste, and as we produce the copper concentrate, we are generating small dust particles that may be harmful to the environment and to the people around. Apart from monitoring, we've got activities that look at generally the well-being of employees, flora and fauna within our environment, and also the communities around. We as KML believe that the well-being of the employees, the people that we work with, it's what drives this project.
Where human activity is happening, there's always disturbance to the ecology, to the environment. So as a mine, we want to ensure that these effects are not so devastating, or we have to protect the environment by ensuring that our activities fall within the accepted standards of mining operations.
As I speak now, we have a draft memorandum of understanding, which is with the permanent secretary under the Minister of Environment. And once that MOU is signed, Kalumbila mine is going to work together with government to protect 2 national forests that are near our project. That is Bushingwe National Forest and Lualaba National Forest. That is in addition to the conservation measures that we have put in place within our mine area.
I decided to extend my stay in Kalumbila so I can get first-hand information on the corporate social responsibility to the communities in which this mine is operating under the Trident project.
As you may be aware, malaria is one of the most infectious diseases that we have around Zambia. So, and because most of the mine workers come from these communities, and the communities surrounding the mine area need the protection they deserve, we also carry out indoor residual spraying, which we do together with the district health office in Solwezi as well. We've